Hey guys, wow. So this also opens up this. Anyways, here's my review of the Joker, which I've seen on Saturday. I haven't done a review yet until now because I kind of wanted to process the movie because when I got out of it, I was pretty disappointed. Most people did the reviews Friday, which was the premiere day. Um, I got my tickets on Saturday, like not even an hour before the movie started, like 50 or 40 minutes before. So it wasn't that hard to get tickets to the movie. It wasn't that sold out as you might have expected. Like it was a full audience, except that maybe like a couple of seats were open, and I got one of them. So maybe like one or two were open. So I want to keep this video shorter, like under 10 minutes. My other two videos were pretty long, and it's funny enough. I want to keep this movie review under 10 minutes, and then I have like two videos about two trailers, and they're like 15 minutes each. So yeah, we'll see. So this movie, Joker, is if I had to describe it in like one sentence, it's Taxi Driver with clown makeup. And that's because even the director Todd Phillips came out and said he wanted to make one of those movies, kind of like Taxi Driver or King of Comedy, which is pretty much the movies that kind of inspired and give the atmosphere to this movie. And the thing is, Joker isn't really a superhero movie, and the trailers are amazing, but the movie kind of feels like a bit of a disappointment. It has great atmosphere. Joaquin Phoenix is an amazing actor. Um, it's a character study, but what I think it's really missing, it's like a big third act scene because this movie doesn't really have one. And why do I say that? Because this movie is called Joker. If it would have been called something else and it didn't involve like a comic book character, I would have been perfectly fine. Taxi Driver doesn't really have a big action sequence, and that's fine. But calling this movie Joker and basing it on that character and not having something big, kind of at the end, was a letdown. And I can understand why, because the Joker isn't like really that mastermind crazy guy. I mean, he's crazy, but he's more like pathetic crazy. And I don't know, I wasn't expecting like some big mastermind plan, like something that will make you go wow, but I was expecting a bit more. So the movie starts with this guy called Arthur Fleck, and he works as a clown at this place, and then they get sent out to do various jobs, and his job is one of the stores is selling like their entire stock, and the Joker is like a clown, like advertising. He gets his sign stolen, gets beat up by these kids, and then one of his coworkers pushes like a gun onto him. A lot of people say like, oh, he buys a gun or he gets a gun. No, no, no. He really gets pushed that gun by his coworker. Like, if a policeman would have acted in the same way towards like someone who wanted to buy drugs, like an undercover policeman, and try to like push drugs onto someone like that, that would be called entrapment, and that's illegal. So yeah, and we see his living conditions, which are pretty bad. We see his mother, Penny Fleck, which is kind of frail, and you kind of get a sense like she's not 100% okay, and she really isn't, because she's kind of obsessing about Thomas Wayne, who also kind of is going to run for mayor. So she's obsessing about him because she believes he's a great man, a good man, and he wrote a letter to him, and she's kind of expecting a response, a positive response, and she is expecting to get like some form of financial help from him because they live pretty horribly. And uh, one of the subplots of the movie is actually the Joker, I mean Arthur Fleck, um, he's led to believe that Thomas Wayne, Batman's father, is also his father. He kind of like had an affair with Penny when they were young, and she was working there, and she signed like an NDA thing. And he one of like this is the subplot that deals with that, and he goes on like on a detective quest kind of a thing, and he actually learns that his mother is pretty crazy, and that uh, she's been lying to him that Thomas Wayne isn't really his father, and that she was with this guy, presumably his father, Arthur Fleck's father, or some other guy. It's not really explained, but he was extremely abusive towards both of them, and he's pretty much. We're led to believe that this is why Arthur has like that creepy laugh, because one of the motives of the movie is him laughing at inappropriate moments when he's under stress. I didn't like the fact that they gave like a medical condition to it. Although I understand because it links to like the whole subplot thing, I would have preferred like a bit of mystery because this is like an origin in a way. Maybe he's not gonna be used in any future movies, but it's kind of an origin to like a Joker. Maybe not the Joker, but like a version of the character named Joker. And honestly, I would have preferred it to be like to have a little bit of mystery why he does that, not really explain well it's a medical condition. Because at the beginning of the movie, he like carries some cards with him and would just say like, "I'm sorry for laughing. I just have a medical condition that makes me do this. I'm not really in control of it." And then that gets further explained by the subplot of his crazy mother having negligently taking care of him and leaving him in the care of an abusive boyfriend. Like it's treated like he, because she's insane also, or like has lots of mental issues. I think they have like they say they have she has like what's it called, like nihilistic personality or something like that, and like a couple of others. And then Arthur like kills her because she's in the hospital. Uh, After he kills like the first guy, he's on the subway. He like the detectives come around and ask about him, and apparently she has a stroke, and she's in the hospital. And getting back to that point at the beginning of the movie, so he gets assaulted by these kids, goes home, meets Zazie Beet's character, which she's not really important to the plot. She's just like Joker just imagines himself with her, which is like nah, that's like pretty clear that's not true. That it's just in his head. So we see the start of the subplot of his mother and her mental illness and Thomas Wayne, and after he gets that gun, he gets fired from his job because his gun falls down off of his pocket during a gig at the children's hospital. On the way back, um, he gets on the train and gets assaulted by three kind of like rich white guys, and he shoots them, and then he kind of runs off, and this kind of sparks something that happens in the background, a plot that's in the background. So there's a garbage strike that's been happening prior to the movie, and then this spark kind of this there's a revolution kind of happening behind the movie. In a sense, we don't really see that much. We kind of see it through secondary sources. We like Joker isn't that much of a part of it. I mean, not like directly. He kind of sparks the whole thing, but that's not his point. He's not the political character. He doesn't want to do this, and that kind of goes on the background. So after he kills his mother, that's kind of like the point he goes like truly insane, and he kind of gets revenge on everyone. Um, he gets also revenge on the guy who sold him his gun, because I believe this is why he does it. Is when he's having the argument with his boss, the guy, I think his name is Carl. So the guy who sold Arthur his weapon, um, when he sells it to him, he's like, "Yeah, just keep it. Get back to me with the money whenever you can." But when the boss finds out about him, it's Carl who like rats him out. And he's like, "Yeah, he like Arthur just came to me and asked for the gun," which is not the version of the events that happened. So he's kind of mad about that. He doesn't really do much to other people that didn't hurt him. So his kill count is pretty low. I mean, directly, he kills the three guys that beat him in the subway. He kills this guy, Carl, his coworker. Who else does he kill? His mother. I mean, some police officer gets assaulted on the train because of him, but that's not really his fault. Like not entirely. The the city's been bubbling, and these guys follow Arthur, and I think he like there's like a big Joker protest because like after the murders he kind of becomes a symbol without really wanting him like he really doesn't really want to be a symbol of a revolution or something. He kind of like enjoys it, but like he doesn't really participate in it. So I think the police officer are either dead or like in very bad shape. That's not really his fault. He kills the talk show host he's been dreaming about joining, and yeah, like he comes off really pathetic in that. Like Robert De Niro, who plays the talk show host, like rips him, and he doesn't really have that gotcha response. He doesn't really have any witty responses. He kind of feels like a 13-year-old who's like, "Why did you do that?" Because I was angry. You know, I really like that the Joker isn't this genius with like a master plan, this kind of like contingency mastermind. No, he just comes off as a pathetic, lonely guy who like he's not even mad at society. He's just mad at the people who wronged him, which is I don't know. I kind of like that part, and I like how the movie makes us see Joker. Because pretty much like in the Dark Knight, he seems like this cool mastermind, agent of chaos kind of a guy, and then in the Suicide Squad, the Jared Leto version of him, he's kind of this gangster, like interesting gangster, kind of crazy, but not really, because he's also running a business, you know. And yeah, this one just makes him really, really pathetic, and I think that's how kind of like if this was true or we were living in like the DC universe in Gotham, is kind of how we were supposed to see Joker. He's supposed to be pathetic. Yes, he does have a lot of like genius mastermind plans, but at the end of the day, he's supposed to be like a pathetic guy. You're not even like the movie doesn't make you feel sorry for him. Yeah, at the beginning, you can empathize with him because he's a good guy. He takes care of his mother. He has like a string of bad luck, but towards the end of it, like even in the middle of it and towards the end of it, you kind of hate him. It's kind of and he disgusts you. He repulses you because he's kind of that pathetic, repulsive guy, and this is what the movie does very well, and I enjoyed it. Speaking about the future of this movie, well, the way it ends is he gets captured after killing the talk show host, and then he's being driven around the police car, and the riots are happening, all over the city, and it's burning and looting, and people wearing Joker masks. And then he, like, one of the other Joker guys, he rams an ambulance and kind of gets him out, but he's in a bad shape, and then, like, he gets up, and, like, there's Jokers around him, and everyone claps. I don't know how true that scene is. It doesn't really feel that true. The other scenes, which, because a lot of people have said, well, how much of it is it true? Like, it's pretty clear. There's like two scenes that, like, not two scenes, but like two threads of a story. One is just a scene, and one is like a couple of scenes, but in the same like thread. So the first one is he watches, at the beginning, he watches with his mother the talk show, the comedy show with Robert De Niro characters as the talk show host, He imagines himself there, and everything goes wonderful, and he's, comes off of the as a the amazing guy. And then the other one is he imagines himself with Zazie Beats. I think they go like on a date or something, and they kiss. Yeah. So that they're made abundantly clear that they're fake. The other one, the one I'm talking about at the end, I'm not really sure, because he's in a bad shape because he's just been in an accident, and he's like kind of put on the hood of the car, and like the jokers around him are just like waiting for him, and he gets up and everyone claps, and he just like looks around, and it makes him happy because like everyone's accepting him, I guess. Yeah, I don't think that's true. And at the end of the movie, he gets interviewed by this lady from like social services, I guess. He's in prison, and he's like, yeah, I don't care anymore. And some people might interpret that as being the only scene that's kind of real, like or like one of the few scenes that are real, and kind of his like transformation doesn't really go the way it goes, or maybe not happens at all, because we kind of find out at the beginning of the movie he's also been institutionalized before, so maybe he had like an episode and he's just like back in that place, and none of the movie really happened. So, or like most of the movie didn't happen. But what I really want to see is, I want to see Batman beat this guy, or like one of the Batman related characters, because he really makes a good villain. And you know how they say like every good movie needs a good villain, or like the good villain makes the hero shine. This movie has a great villain. It's just that it has no heroes in it, and that's the part that sucks about it. Um, Even if like Batman would have appeared for like 5 minutes and just like take control of the situation, I would have been perfectly okay with it. That doesn't really happen. We don't really see what happens. Um, Riots, you just kind of assume that like everything calms down and the police intervene and everyone's like locked up, or like the crowd disperses, and Joker, like Arthur Fleck, is captured. But we don't really see that. We like it ends with like Joker surrounded by the Jokers, or like the rioters, and everyone's like clapping and making noise. Uh, and then we see him back at the. I'm not sure if it's a prison or like a mental institution. Uh, Also, between these two scenes, someone, presumably Joe Chill, comes and murders Batman's parents. Thomas Wayne is kind of a rich asshole, but not really. Like you kind of understand where he's coming from. Yeah, he seems like not like the friendliest person, but he doesn't seem like a bad person. Uh, yeah, there's a scene where like like the Arthur Fleck still thinks that Thomas Wayne is his real dad, so he goes to Wayne Manor, and he like there's a scene in the trailer with like Bruce Wayne. It's not really that much of a scene or that impactful, but that studio mandated, uh, which gives me hope that the studio will like throw some big bucks to these guys, Joaquin, Zazie Beats, because Zazie Beats doesn't do much. So in the 5 scenes she's in, like one of them is real, then the next three are like Arthur's dreams, or like at least two of them, because at some point he follows her, so we might presume that's a real scene. And then the fifth one is when she comes to her apartment, and she finds Arthur Fleck there, and she's scared, and she's like, "You're in the wrong apartment. Please leave. You're scaring me." So that she's a very pretty woman, a very beautiful woman. I hope they do more with like these characters. I hope Todd Phillips gets to get like the DC main chair for movies. I kind of like his grounded movies. Maybe he needs like a couple more superhero sparks. I'm not really that excited about J.J. Abrams being the Kevin Feige of the DC universe. Um, I feel like J.J. Abrams shouldn't get like the top job. Maybe he could be like a second or third stringer, because he what he made isn't really that amazing. It has cool moments and a cool idea, but the execution isn't 100% of the time that good. So I think I've talked for way too long, so I'm gonna stop here. If you guys are on the fence about Joker, you should go watch it, make your own opinions about it. It's not a big explosive movie. It's kind of a slow burn. Yeah, slow burn. It's the perfect way to describe it. A slow burn. So if you love that kind of movies, or you're just like obsessed with the Joker, or a big fan of Joaquin Phoenix, definitely go see the movie. Um, I'll see you guys in the next video. Yeah, please like the video, comment on it, any criticism, any future videos you want me to cover, and yeah, subscribe to the channel. Thanks.